I was born right here, right across the street at Loudoun Memorial Hospital, August the 4th, 1948. I was the youngest of 6. I had 4 older brothers and an older sister, and I went to Douglas Elementary School as a child, and I grew up in the Waverly Heights section of Leesburg, which is South King Street now. My mother was very independent. She was a very kind person. I never heard her say a harsh word about anybody. And she taught me to be like her. And hopefully I have become like her. When I was 13, my mother died. So my world changed drastically. So I grew up really fast and became very independent because my father was there in the home, but we weren't close. But my mother was my world back then. She taught me to be strong and independent and a giving person. So I had a strong sense of right and wrong because of her. And it kept me through high school. Segregation in that era made me feel, and I guess others, like you didn't matter, like the other, okay? And when you feel like the other, it kind of plays on your psyche. And it still does, really, when I think about it. You know, it doesn't go away, you know, when you experience segregation and, you know, being the other, sitting in the, upstairs in the movie theater or going to a segregated school or having to stand at the counter and not be able to sit on the stools, the counters, you know. I mean, it's deep. It stays with you, doesn't go away. My brothers, it all started, he came here to Thomas Balch to try to use the library. They said no. So they called the trustee, who was Huntington Harris at the time, and worked out an arrangement where he could come here and clean. That's what he did. So the next day, he got us together. He was making signs, and he got the neighborhood kids together and said, we're going to protest the movie theater, because he had tried to go to the movie theater and sit in the white section the night before and got arrested. So we said, yes, we're going to do it. So we all got together and started to head toward Leesburg, and everybody reneged. They said they would not do it. They went back home. So he turned and said, if you don't do it, I'll never speak to you again. So he and I protested the movie theater. Then another kid came and picked up a sign and protested also. And then the next day, everybody got together and we started protesting. The first time we did go there and sit downstairs in the white section. And the movie was West Side Story. And it's like we were the only 2 in the theater, you know. But the seats were so comfortable. And we didn't realize their seats were so comfortable. The upstairs seats were horrible, you know. But you don't know what you don't know, right? And after that, we won that battle. And then after that, we protested the swimming pool. But for like a week or more. But nothing happened. Not until 1968, and this was 1963. I was 14. Well, we would march every day at 12 o'clock, and it would be different kids. Some would come from Purcellville, some Leesburg kids. It would be different groups of kids each day. And we would march every day. The first night, when my brother and I were protesting, I mean, I was 14, I was scared to death. I mean, we had seen all the protests on TV. It was the summer, it was 1963. And I remember seeing the Freedom buses coming through Leesburg, because it was a straight route. Route 15 would take you right, you know, to the south. And so we knew everything that was happening around, you know, in the south, but I never thought we would be doing that, you know. But It was an interesting summer. Interesting summer. One of the hardships, especially when I was, say, 15, there was nowhere to work. I needed money, and there were no jobs. There were no jobs for people like me. Eventually, I went to work with Loudoun County, and I retired from there after 25 years. And that was I loved working for the county, loved it. When I first went there, I worked in HR for 5 years. Then I worked in the court service unit, which worked with juveniles. That wasn't fun. And then after that, I went to work for the county administrator's office for, I think it was 7 years. And then I went to the libraries, the public library system, where I retired as their office manager in 2005. So I've been retired for 20 years coming up. And after that, I went to work for the town of Leesburg for a couple of years as a receptionist. And then after that, I just retired from there and took care of my grandkids. I started doing art because that was my therapy, and that just blossomed. Art has calmed the chaos in my soul. After I found the signs, I started to paint those memories. And then after that, I did a presentation here at Balch. Then I would go to schools, middle schools, high schools, and talk about that whole era. Elaine Thompson is one of my local heroes because of her, I joined the Friends of Thomas Balch Library's Black History Committee after she died. I said, this is something that I need to do in her honor. And another would be Phyllis Randall. She's always mentioning my name when she talks about her growth here and where she is now. She always mentions me. And that encourages me to do better, to do more, to be out here. When I was involved with the Loudoun Douglas Alumni Association, I wrote the county about our work, and we did receive a volunteer award. I think it was a team award that year for volunteer service. And then I was on the Edwin Washington Project team. We won a team award through Loudoun Cares one year. And then I think the Board of Supervisors, myself and others, received recognition for Black history. And at the time, I had an exhibit at Oatlands, which I still have there for that work. The Mount Zion United Methodist Church, I was the president of the United Methodist Women for about 2005 until 2021, I guess. And we did lots of fundraisers. I enjoyed that because I would make art and sell a lot of it, We made lots of money. Another one, let's see, the Edwin Washington Project. The Edwin Washington Project is a project that studies the segregated history of Loudoun County. Okay. And they wrote a book named Dirt Don't Burn. So I was heavily involved in that, and they have a room at the Douglas High School. Most of these organizations I was doing at the same time. And then I stepped back from some of it. I said, this is too much. I want to do art. I want to do art, and genealogy and all of that. That's what we're supposed to do, give back. That's what I do. I don't get paid. Very seldom somebody will say, Gert, can you do this? I'll pay you. I don't want anything. But no, I give it away. I have to because my house is full of art. Gert, be yourself. And advice that I give to young people: tell your story. You have to tell your story. I think telling my story, and when I present it different places, it's helped people to understand who I am, where I've come from, or the other side, So I think it's a positive for everybody. I want to be remembered for my honesty in telling my story and using my artwork to do that. My message for the coming generations is to always stand up for what you believe is right.